Each personality type in the DSM-5 has different traits associated with it. Traditionally, a person was diagnosed with having one of these mental disorders, such as having narcissistic personality disorder. Traits one display of another personality disorder would be said to accompany the main disorder a person has, such as a narcissist with antisocial traits. But what if a person displayed the worst traits of 3 toxic disorders? How dangerous will this toxic combination be, and how do you spot such a person? What is the dark triad? The dark triad is a phrase coined by Paul Haas and Williams in 2002. It refers to the 3 toxic personality traits being narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. When sadism is included, it is called the dark tetrad. From research, it was found that when a person scores high in all 3 personality types, the combined effect would result in a person who is more likely to commit crimes and cause significant pain and suffering for the people around them. Originally, a person was scored individually for each personality type, and then the clinician would decide if a score was high enough for each personality type to create a dark triad. In 2010, Dr. Peter Jonasson and Gregory Webster developed a 12-item methodology to measure dark triad traits. This list is also called the Dirty Dozen. The list has 12 statements that combines the main traits of the 3 personality types that would have required 91 questions if the personality types were to have been tested for on their own. The statements will be covered later, but first an overview of the 3 personality types that make up the dark triad. Narcissism. The word narcissism comes from a Greek myth of Narcissus. There are many versions, but the basis is a hunter who was so in love with his own reflection in a pool that it caused his death. Depending on the version, he either fell into the pool and drowned or starved to death while looking at his reflection. This is at the heart of narcissism, a person who is so in love with a false image of themselves that they become selfish, boastful, arrogant, lack in empathy, and hypersensitive to criticism. They feel entitled and as if they are special and unique. This makes them believe they are above other people and deserve special treatment. With higher levels of narcissism, the person may believe others are not even a human and only tools for the narcissist to use as they see fit. They may have an utter hatred for people and manipulate, deceive, and use them without remorse or empathy. Narcissists often believe they have a natural talent to influence people and that there is nothing wrong in manipulating people as they are only using the talent they were given. They often believe that having the ability to manipulate others proves how special they are and justifies then manipulating others. Machiavellianism. The word Machiavellianism comes from the Greek renowned 16th century Italian politician and diplomat Niccolo Machiavelli. His 1513 book, The Prince, was seen as him endorsing the dark arts of cunningness and deception in diplomacy. Machiavellianism is thus associated with traits of cunningness, deception, duplicity, manipulation, self-interest, and a lack of both emotion and morality. These people are driven to use whatever means necessary to gain power. Corruption in government or the workplace gives them an easy way to the top. People with Machiavellianism often think that it is hard to get ahead in life without cutting corners. Psychopathy. Psychopathy refers to the traits such as poor emotional responses, lack of empathy, superficial charm, poor judgment and failure to learn from experience, incapacity for love, lack of remorse or shame, impulsivity, grandiose sense of self-worth, pathological lying, manipulative behaviors, and antisocial behaviors. The person will commonly persistently behave in antisocial behaviors where they have a total disregard for any laws, norms, or social expectations. They frequently participate in criminal behaviors and show no real remorse for the damage they cause, nor do they learn from their mistakes. They will often act without thinking of the consequences, which makes them very dangerous as well as repeat offenders. Their crimes can be from petty theft to heinous acts of violence which they repeat no matter how many times they are punished. Note that having some of these traits does not necessarily make a person a psychopath. People who score high on psychopathy tend to take a lot of risks, often like driving fast, and think they can easily fool others and even beat lie detectors. The 12-item dark triad checklist. Note that only a clinician who personally evaluates a client can make a diagnosis. The list is only included here for a better understanding of the dark triad. A person would be asked to rate themselves on a scale from 1 to 7 for each of the 12 statements. 1. Strongly disagree with a statement, with 7. Strongly agree with a statement. This gives a possible score of from 12 to 84. The higher the score, the higher the probability of having dark triad tendencies. The first 4 statements cover Machiavellianism, the second group of 4 covers psychopathy, and the last group of 4 covers narcissism. For each statement, it tests a specific trait that is reflected by the keyword for each statement. The statements are as follows. For Machiavellianism, I tend to manipulate others to get my way. Keyword, manipulate. I have used deceit or lie to get my way. Keyword, deceit. I have used flattery to get my way. Keyword, flattery. I tend to exploit others towards my own end. Keyword, exploit. Psychopathy. I tend to lack remorse. Keyword, remorse. I tend to be unconcerned with the morality of my actions. Keyword, amoral. I tend to be callous or insensitive. Keyword, callous. I tend to be cynical. Keyword, cynical. Narcissism. I tend to want others to admire me. Keyword, admire. I tend to want others to pay attention to me. Keyword, attend. I tend to seek prestige or status. Keyword, status. I tend to expect special favors from others. Keyword, favors. What does it look like? Just like individual personality types, the dark triad is on a sliding scale. This causes each person to differ in ways depending on which traits they scored high in. However, they generally do not form a strong bond with others and have no problem having casual sex with multiple partners. They are often flashier in appearance and are generally very likable when you first meet them. They have confident body language and can easily fake warmth, kindness, and empathy. However, when they have nothing to gain from you, they can be cruel, callous, extremely disagreeable, and very cunning in getting what they want. They are prone to risk-taking, love to use aggressive or dark humor, have difficulty describing or understanding emotions, and have no ethical or moral compass. They feel nothing for rules, regulations, social norms, or laws. Going to prison does not scare them, as they often do not think about the consequences of their actions, or they think they can manipulate their way out of any trouble they get themselves into. They tend to be driven to gain power at any means necessary, and may even forego momentary rewards in the pursuit of power. They find it hard to learn from their mistakes and have no remorse for the destruction they cause. They are unethical, callous, cynical, and need to be admired. They want to be in the company of high status people and be themselves seen as high status. They may scorn people who they think are of insufficient status who dare talk to them. They think nothing of manipulating people and exploiting them for self-gain. Even ruining a person's life by lying to them for years just to gain status, money, and power. When you stand in their way, they can become extremely violent. They can be very spiteful and vindictive. Their greed for power and money is often the only thing that drives them. However, if they score lower on the need for being adored and higher on the antisocial traits, they may become sadistic where they find pleasure in hurting others. In a recent study, it was found that online trolls scored high in the dark triad traits of antisocial behavior, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. Dark triad people are likely to commit crimes, cause social distress, manipulate and deceive people without remorse, as well as abuse or even kill people to get their way.